you know, we are also recording our Sparks as we publish every Spark session on our website. And would you like to see the series of Sparks that have been launched and presented until now? The only thing that you need to do is to register on our CIBP website, and Brigitte and I will give you a login, and then you can benefit from all the Sparks and the sprints and other projects that CIBP is having to now. I see that people are still joining, so voilà. Um, I'm being distracted by admitting. Maybe I will ask my colleague Brigitte to help me out so that I can just say a few words of warm welcome again to Tariq. I will not go into the topic for now to welcome you, Tariq. If you allow, I would just share with our participants of this park today that we know each other through the CIBP Link training program that we had together in 2017. Is that correct? 2017, 2018. Uh, and this also facilitates the network of CIBP, as when we try to build up some projects together, we have a direct contact with our managers all around the world. And so this feels very familiar, and also very easy to connect with each other. And that is also the purpose of this Spark. So again, should you have some questions on the topic that Tariq is presenting today, don't hesitate to reach out. The purpose of CIBP is to reinforce and to build a strong network of cooperative and popular banks around the world. That said, Tariq, the floor is yours. Thank you again for accepting to host this event. A little anecdote, we saw Tariq's name in the press, where in Germany a lot was said about the sustainable transformation of the economy by the Z Bank. And so that is how we decided to have Tariq with us today for this event. Thank you again, Tariq.
Yes, thank you, Valeria, for welcoming me, and hello to everybody from the CIB Spark room, which I'm seeing right now. I have to say it's really a great pleasure to be able to speak here today, because as Valeria said, I was a CIBP Link member in 2017, and it was just lovely to see cooperative banking colleagues from all around the world. I've made friends from Brazil, from Morocco, Italy, France, and really it was a very warm welcome also from the side of Valeria and her team. So before I start, maybe also a warm welcome to the colleagues which are in the call from Argentina, Austria, Brazil, Canada, Chile, France, Germany, and Morocco. I'm always happy to have an international environment, because in Germany you don't have that much of an international environment currently. My name is Tariq Noori. I'm department head of group strategy and sustainability. And what I would like to present today is just how we as DZ Bank think about sustainability. And I would like to start with some topics regarding sustainability in a bigger context. And then I would like to talk about DZ Bank specifically. So let me just jump to one of my favorite slides. I hope it works. Yep. You see this? I think you can see the timeline slide right now. Yep. Okay. So what I brought you here is that at some point the DZ Bank team 3 years ago sat down because sustainability as a topic itself was overwhelming us, from consultants, from other banks, from the regulatory side. And we sat down and just tried to make it more transparent how far away, how long away is the time where you can actually see sustainability occur within the world. And not surprisingly for the German colleagues, it started in Germany with in 1713. And please don't be afraid, I won't go into every milestone here, but I think it's a quite interesting topic. So back in the days, in 1713, there was a very big need for wood because of the mining industry in some parts of Germany. And what happened was the forests were just whole forests were just getting taken over by the people and being used for the mining industry. So they were vanishing, right? And there were no rules back in the days. So this man, Hans Karl von Karlowitz, published a book back in the day. And he said, we need to restore our forests and we need rules for those people who are taking away the trees out of the forest. So that was the first time we see in the history that somebody was talking about sustainable forestry. So that was the first time you can really tell somebody thought about it. If you want, we've got the same discussion currently going on with carbon dioxide and CO2, which I will refer to later on. So then, if we jump a little bit, we have in 1992, we had the first conference from the United Nations, the Rio Earth Summit, where actually the leaders of the world decided that actually every country in the world needs a sustainability strategy. Back in the days, it wasn't that much of a focus on sustainability. So it took Germany, for example, 10 years to establish a sustainability strategy for the country in 2002. But the really big milestones were in 2015. The first big milestone was in September 2015, where also the United Nations, the leaders of this world, decided that we need the Sustainable Development Goals. Interestingly, they also edited a climate goal into that account. Why did they do that? They were afraid that 2 months later at the Paris Climate Convention, the leaders of the world won't be able to sign this convention, Paris Climate Convention. So that's why if you take a look at the Sustainable Development Goals, you will also find a climate goal. But then luckily, we also signed the Paris Climate Convention in 2015 with the below 2-degree target. And these two goals are really one of the most important goals if you look also into banking and regulatory currently. Right? So what happened after that? I'm jumping to 2018, 2019 in Europe. Our president, Mrs. von der Leyen, announced a European Green Deal coming from a really big regulatory side. And then in November last year, we had the Conference of the Parties, also hosted by the UN, where we had a lot of goals being discussed, and also the one big goal, which is also important for us in banking, that we will have a not below 2-degree path. We want to have a 1.5-degree path for the world. So that's a really short lesson in sustainability history. If we take a look in what's happening currently, and this slide is not a banking slide. This slide is for all companies which are in the industry, more or less. And if you take a look at the left side, what we see currently is a lot of drivers coming from regulations, from public awareness, also from non-governmental organizations, but also the market is changing, right? So the customers are changing. I mean, I guess in every country which is represented today, you will see articles in the press, groups of people complaining about that we're not sustainable enough. In Europe, we've got Fridays for Future. And so we see quite a big change occurring currently. On the other side, the core question is always for a company, how do I need to transform my business model, right? So what is happening now is it's going to stay. Sustainability is going to stay. It's not going to go away in 5 years. It's going to stay for 10, 20, 30 years. And if it goes away in 5 years, I'm happy to invite you to a nice dinner in Germany. But I'm quite sure I don't have to pay the bill. And it's just interesting to see how a new topic, which has been there for quite a long time, is just exploding into our environment right now. So if we take a look into our banking side, what is for us, it's what's going on in our world at DZ Bank is that from one point we see a lot of regulation coming in, right, from the supervisory side. So we've got some standards coming in for reporting. We have to report a taxonomy quote, which means that we need to take a look in our banking portfolio and tell the supervisory or advisory commissions like the European Central Bank how much green assets do we have. So we're taking a look into that. Then we have a lot of regulations regarding the climate risk side coming in. And on top of that, if you take a look at the stakeholders, the NGOs, we also decide to have voluntary commitments within the banking industry in Europe, but also in Germany. For example, the TCFD, which is it's a pure climate risk reporting, and we've also signed the Net Zero Banking Alliance in Germany, where you need to have decarbonization path for a specific sector. Going towards zero emissions, and we've also have something like the disclosure, which is I forgot what the name was. I think it's called disclosure for carbon something, the CDP, and you disclose actually how much carbon dioxide volume you have within your company, right? And interestingly, if not enough, all the points I just referred to, you need to have scenarios, right? So that's why the COP26 is so important for us, because there was this decision we need to go to 1.5 degrees. And that means for us as a bank, every scenario we will build for simulations will always be on the 1.5 degree scenario, not more on the 2 degree scenario. So that's also something which we see happening, especially on the financial side. So this is a slide which actually shows that we are not the center of the sustainability topic as a bank, right? So if you take a look at the left side, the center of the topic is the transformation of the real economy, of the industry, say steel, automotive, chemicals. You can name whatever you have in your bank portfolio. On the other hand, we see the credit economy or the banking side just as a arm of governments and policies, right? So what they do, they have direct guidelines going into the real economy, but they also use us as a bank or as an insurance or asset manager with their bodies. In Europe, you have the European Central Bank. In Germany, you have the BaFin, which controls the banks. So they give us indirect guidelines for how to finance the real economy. So I think what is interesting for you as well is that Europe has decided they want to be front runner regarding sustainability. That's why we had the European Green Deal, which I was referring to before. And Germany decided to be front runner in Europe. And so that's why we're also experiencing quite a lot of regulation within Germany. But our primary goal as bank and also as DZ Bank is to be able to help our customers, the real economy in the industry, to get enough lending, and we are able to support lending activities and also other products to just be able to transform this industry to more sustainability. And If I jump to our role, especially, you would see the bank on the left side. And as already said, our role is to provide products, sustainable products. And also from the lending side, sustainable lending means we need to help the customers transform their business. But we also have different kind of products which they can use, which are green, but also the industry is changing in that sense that we're also taking a look at how many sustainable products can we provide for the customers, because the customers are demanding these products. And our asset management CEO in Germany, which is one of the largest asset managers in Germany, also said that he sees a big trend going forward, that in the next 5 years, all the funds, private funds, which will be acquired, 80% of them will be regarding sustainability, right? So what we've done here, this is quite interesting slide. So that shows the transformational need or the volume of money you need in Europe in different kind of sectors. So we've compromised them into 5 sectors: energy, transport, steel industry, for example, agriculture, and real estate. And these numbers are quite big, right? So you see 50 to 100 billion on the energy supply side, 87 billion on the sustainable transport side. So what does that actually mean? These numbers mean that those industries need to change because the government and the regulations will provide demands on these industries, right? And so that means they need money to finance these demands, right? And so we see a quite bigger change actually also in Germany occurring currently. But important for us as DZ Bank is we need to have knowledge about these sectors. We need to have knowledge about how these sectors are changing regarding sustainability. And we need to provide advisory, and we need to provide knowledge within our advisory arm of the bank, right? And it's just a small example, but for example, in the aircraft industry, we already have a sustainable petrol kind of how do you call it in English? Yeah, petrol. But no aircraft will use it because it's way too expensive. So no aircraft company will use it currently, right? So this petrol actually makes sure that you have less carbon dioxide emissions going out when you fly, but nobody uses it because it's too expensive. But if the government demands it, you need to use it, or you need to transform your aeroplanes into more CO2 neutral. So this is the trend we're seeing right now. It's quite interesting. We're looking into it as DZ Bank as well. But we see a massive uprise, and I guess in other countries as in South America, America, Canada, it will be the same. Yeah. So maybe just to conclude what transformational support means, you see 4 blocks of guidance which you can read. Let me just give you the big buzzwords for it. So first of all, you need to support your customer. It doesn't make any sense being a police officer in that demand, right? So it doesn't make any sense to only have currently green companies in your portfolio. It makes more sense to help those companies which are brown currently to go the path and transformational path with them to change into green. Right? Although you will get, as a bank, you will get a lot of you will get always into trouble with the non-governmental organizations, but it's a decision which your CEOs need to make. The CEOs of DZ Bank committed themselves to a transformational path. That means currently we won't only have green companies in our portfolio. We will have those companies in our portfolio who are willing to change. Nevertheless, it's also important to have exclusion, right? Like weaponry, also old exclusions would be red light district, red light companies, but that's not sustainability. Now it's more on coal-fired power plants, nuclear bombs, weaponry, and it's really important to have those ethical exclusions as well. Then the third thing is advisory, and that comes in combination of support. Don't be a police officer for your customer. Advise. Try to explain how he can transform his business to more as climate neutral, to a more climate neutral business model. And the last point is for a bank, for an insurance company, for asset managers, we see huge opportunities from revenue side as well. So it's not just a regulatory issue, sustainability. It's really a big chance for companies if you're fast enough and if you're willing to make the change, but you need to talk to your CEOs as well to support you. It's going to really shoot, the demand is going to shoot into the air. Let me jump to DZ Bank. So maybe for those who don't know DZ Bank, DZ Bank is on its own, it's the second biggest bank in Germany. DZ Bank also is a holding company with one of the biggest insurance companies in Germany called R+V. It's a holding company with one of the biggest asset managers in Germany called Union Investment, and also all the other companies you see in the circle on the left side, right? DZ Bank is also a central institution for the cooperative banks in Germany, and we are owned by the cooperative banks in Germany. And DZ Bank has about 5,350 employees, and yeah, and the headquarters is in Frankfurt. And I'm sitting in Frankfurt. It's kind of rainy and sunny right now, but we hope spring will break out soon. So that's just in a short glimpse what DZ Bank as a company is. If I jump back to sustainability, what I brought you today is our task force. So that's the project structure, how DZ Bank actually executes their sustainability task force within the bank. So let me just go through. On the top side, on the deep blue side, you see the steering committee, which is chaired by we've got two CEOs. They're the chairmen of the steering committee, but we've also got our CFO in the committee, we've got the CRO in the committee, and we've got the board member for the corporate banking side as well in the steering committee. And if I go through the numbers as through the alphabet, so if you take a look at A, you always need a strong program management, right? Because what I said beforehand, the complete bank is involved within this project. So this structure you see right now is since the beginning of this year, and before that we had another structure with about 40 people involved. Now there are 200 people involved from the bank because everybody is just trying to take a look into sustainability and how they can change their processes. So if I jump to B, that's the focus, we call it focus topics. That's more on the ambition side, on the opportunity side, how we can go further, especially in corporate banking. If I jump to C, sustainability analytics, analytics is a really big topic within sustainability. What do I mean by that? We need data, a lot of data regarding carbon dioxide. And also the regulatory offices in Germany demand, and Europe demand, a lot of data from us. So we need to have some kind of tool, accounting tool, which provides information to the rest of the bank. And that's what we're looking into in C. Then we've got D, which is all the regulatory topics. We are also in a stress test currently, in a climate stress test in Germany. Will be developed within that module. And in E, you've got a very interesting module. It's called business decisions. So in this module, you discuss the point: is this company a transformational company? Are we willing to transform this company? Are we willing to finance this company? And that's a quite interesting topic. And on the last, it's F, and that's all of the data will go into there at some point. And we need an architecture for the bank which will supply the whole of the bank, not only with CO2 data, but with all the data you need regarding sustainability. So that's our project in a nutshell. And we've got a lot of work to do. So this is just a quick example of what we've done at the Z Bank in the beginning 2-3 years ago. We built our own classification. So we took a look in our credit portfolio and said we need a classification and we will use the Sustainable Development Goals. So we've built a rule book with all the sectors within our credit portfolio, maybe steel, automotive, chemicals. And this is a really simple example of onshore wind farm. And the rule book just ticks. So if it's a renewable energy, if it's wind energy and it's onshore, you will have 2 or 3 clicks, and then you will have a positive impact on the Sustainable Development Goal number 7, which is a really simple example. But what we've done is now we can screen our whole credit portfolio when a new financing activity comes in, and we are able to discuss what kind of problems, but what also good things this financing activities involves. And this is quite good. So you need transparency of your credit portfolio. What is green? What is not green? You don't have to use this classification method, which I'm showing you right now. You just need transparency. But because I think a lot of banks currently don't know what is green and what is not green in their portfolio. But you need to have this transparency to discuss with your board members and the top management how to move on further with your portfolio. So I'm coming to the end of my presentation. Maybe what we see currently, the hot topics this year, especially on a really focused side. So first of all, CO2 accounting is exploding in Germany and in Europe as a hot topic, because everybody is talking about climate change, right? So this is and is going to be the hot topic for the next years. The second topic will be, how do you make a decision on climate change within your portfolio? So you need to have, if you, for example, you have the sector automotive, you need to calculate a decarbonization path within the sector. And if you have a financing activity coming in, you need to make a decision if it's negative or positive on this decarbonization path from a CO2 side. So it's a quite complex task, but we're looking into it right now. And the third point is risk, because the regulatory side always wants to have the risk issue more transparent. So we're looking into physical and transformational risk within our activities, but also within our customers. So as a conclusion, and I hope I wasn't too fast, Valeria, and we've got enough time left. Maybe just 4 points which you can take with you. So sustainability is, if you take a look at the top, is a strategic topic. You can't just start bottom up. You really need to talk to your board members, to your management board, and you need to have a CEO commitment if you really want to push the topic within the company, right? The second point, I've said it a couple of times today, is on the right side, you need to support your customers. You're not supposed to be a police officer. That's how we see it, right? You need to support your customers to a transformational path. And on the downside, you see you need also to rethink your own business. What kind of products do you need? What kind of involvement do you need within your products to be more sustainable? And the last topic, data availability is the key factor currently, especially in Germany, because we've got a lot of SME companies in Germany where you can't get public data from. So we see data regarding sustainability really as a new hot topic arising everywhere. And thank you for listening. I hope it wasn't too boring. I hope I could show you how important the topic sustainability is. And if I couldn't see if there are any questions, but yeah, I'm open to questions. And if you don't have any questions right now, you're more than welcome to write me an email. Valeria, I'm giving it back to you then.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Tariq. I think it was a great presentation. I saw some thumbs up and applause. I think that it was very interesting. In the meantime, while I share some comments with the group, please don't hesitate, as I said, to use the chat. To write a question on the chat. Of course, as Tariq said, also he's available for questions and for exchanges within your organizations, with your teams, if you want to have study more what can be done within your companies, within your banks, to establish such a steering committee. This is, I think, a strong message also to all of you as managers within your bank, how to set up such a strategy. What triggered me personally, it's the keywords that you use as a manager within the Z Bank, which, as you understand, it's central organization supporting cooperative banks, popular banks in Germany. And Tariq, you really very much insisted on keywords like CEO commitment. I think that this is in whatever company, and even more, I would say, in cooperative banks, as a cooperative bank was established because you believe in something and you want to change the economy, you want to give access to local economy, to see SMEs and other people in need. The other keyword was transparency, which is also very vital as a value within the cooperative model, and the support. So I think that you are fully in line, I would say, in order to make this transformation possible. So it's very inspiring personally, and I learned a lot also historically. I think that this timeline was very interesting to understand how sustainability has started ages before us. So very, very interesting. Then I just want to share something else with the group and you, a small anecdote that I heard today by pure hazard. It's there is a huge building here in Brussels where architecture company has established its premises. And as you know, energy is the prices of energy is going very crazy for now. And establish some windmills. I will say that word because I don't know how you say it in English. Eolienne. So those windmills that you can that produce energy, and actually they are using they have built so those windmills. Let's say on the 20th floor of this huge building, and it's heating and giving electricity to the offices of this architectural office. So I find it's great how more and more you can be innovative. You can change the way you are heating yourself today. You can think of changing, as also Tariq said, sustainability. Going green is also a commitment and engaging and willingness to do so. So that will be my closing words to all of you. And again, don't hesitate to pop a question via email then to Tariq.
I have a question, Valeria.
Cool.
Tariq, I just want to know, a bank of your size, you said you're the second biggest bank in Germany, and you're working obviously in the sustainability department. How many persons are working in your department? I just want to know to see the magnitude of this topic.
So we've got a decentral approach within the Z Bank. So we've got a central team, which is maybe about 8 people currently, which does the central coordination. But we've got teams in risk, in finance, on the capital market side, on the advisory side. So it's a decentral approach. We don't have a big a huge sustainability division because we think it's important that every division has their own sustainability experts, more or less.
Yes, it brings me to that question that I have written also, and it's a very good question, Brigitte, you had is, so you said that you need a lot of knowledge about the sectors, the key sectors you are focusing on. Does it mean that you are also then recruiting or training your employees to have knowledge about that? Does it mean that the business and the being a banker, the job of a banker is changing also nowadays?
I mean, the basics will not change, I guess, but it's not bad to have knowledge. We're also having, we need supervisory board members to have sustainability knowledge as well currently. So what we do is we've got, we train our people, we're trying to train our people, but we're also trying to hire people from outside. Another bank I just discussed with 2-3 weeks ago, they're hiring people from the forestry department as a bank to go with them to advise their customers, right? So the skill set is changing, what you're hiring currently. You don't need to hire a banker for sustainability. And so that's changing. Yeah.
Okay, Tariq, personally, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you for supporting also the CIBP network and for being part of us. Thank you all of you also for joining, for your attendance, attention, etc. See you next month. Just by word, next month Spark will take place on the last day of March, meaning on the 31st of March. And we are building up a program with a representative of the Brazilian Central Bank. It will also focus on how the Brazilian Central Bank is focusing its topics and regulatory norms on sustainability also. So we'll continue on that topic. As Tariq said, it's a hot topic. So we'll keep you posted on more on the topic itself. But please save the date already for the next Spark. So 31st of March with our Brazilian member who has invited a representative of the Brazilian Central Bank. Thank you very much again for your attention and see you next month, hopefully. Bye bye.